Encore, here on another Encore Excursion. Today we're visiting the Washington on the Brazos Star of the Republic Museum, and I'm visiting with Donna and Gail, who are going to tell us all about Texas history.
Welcome to the Star of the Republic Museum, and we hope that we can show you many of our super cool artifacts.
Well, the Star of the Republic Museum was founded due to Gus Mutcher. He was the Speaker of the House from Brenham, and he wanted a museum that was going to house a fine collection of Texas memorabilia. So in March 1st, 1970, the doors were opened here. The importance of the museum is not only to show what the life of Texas was like, especially during that Republic period, those 10 years we were an independent nation, but it also commemorates the site where the Texas Declaration of Independence was signed. So this whole site itself is significantly important. We have everything in here from Sam Houston's handwritten documents to the earliest known Lone Star flag. Many of our artifacts were donated. Some of them we bought at auction. Some of them we were borrowing from other museums and collections. But overall, this is the largest repository of Texas, especially during the Republic period. One of the cool things about the museum, especially up on the second floor, is the deck. Our museum is shaped like a star. So if you're walking on the outside of the deck, each one of these points is a star point. The ceiling up here, or the roof, is in a pentagon shape. And from the pentagon, all the water runs off the roof, and we have cisterns. So at the corner pieces, right off the points, there are 5 cisterns. So the water from when we get rain goes into the cisterns, and then it automatically goes out, and it does automatic watering for the wildflower patches out there. So we're also environmentally friendly. But I think this is one of to my knowledge, it's the only star-shaped building in the world. So I think it makes us a special, very special, because, not only the architectural shape, but we're the only one shaped like the Lone Star of Texas that has the most complete collection of Texana in the entire state. So actually, this building is my favorite artifact because we are 50 years old this year. We're celebrating our 50th birthday. So March 1st, 1970 was our opening date, and then we celebrated our 50th on March 1st. Texas wanted to be separate from Mexico for many reasons, and a lot of it had to do with Santa Anna. He came in and took over as a dictator and wanted a very strong centralized government. The United States was not like that, and since most of the Texians had come to Texas, that's the kind of government they were used to. So they weren't comfortable with this very controlling centralized government. So in 1836, March 2nd, they met here in Washington on the Brazos, and 59 men plus several others came here to fight what they thought was the oppression that was coming. They created the Texas Declaration of Independence, and then they started working on the Constitution of Texas. Now, while this is going on, the Alamo has fallen and the letter has come back from Travis. Many of them wanted to stop and go fight. But Houston and others said, no, we have to finish. We have to finish this Constitution so that we are recognized politically, because otherwise we're nothing but rebels. And it just puts us right back where we started. Some of the men that were here in Washington on the Brazos over at Independence Hall, which is not too far from the Star of the Republic Museum, they were in this building. Some of the men that came were Sam Houston, and it was actually his birthday on March 2nd, Colin McKinney, Francisco Ruiz, Jose Antonio Navarro. We have a picture of the 59 signers, and we have them all listed. But all of these men came knowing that if the Texas Revolution failed and Santa Anna won, their lives were over. Texas was over, and Santa Anna would do nothing to stop. He would do everything in his power to hunt these people down, hunt down their families, destroy their lives, destroy their livelihoods, and make sure that Texas was no more. No quarter at the Alamo, and no quarter anywhere else. And that even went for the civilians. So it was extremely important that they succeeded, and they did. And it took a long time, several battles, the Goliad massacre, but finally we had success at San Jacinto. And so after that, we became our own independent nation. And right here, this is one of the earliest known Lone Star flags from 1837. This is, in many cases, the pride of our collection. It's from the Cletus Brown Texana collection, but it's hand woven and hand colored. And it shows, to me, it just shows, even though it's faded and worn, it shows the courage and the tenacity of the Texans. 1836 was extremely important because up to this point, we'd had other conventions. We had written things down and sent them to Mexico. Stephen F. Austin was in prison for 2 years, taking a letter saying, these are some of our grievances. What can we do about them? Trying to negotiate in a way. So when he got out by 1836, we were at the point where negotiation wasn't working. We came here in 36 because we knew that we were going to have to write something legal. We knew that we were going to have to break away from Mexico. And that's what this convention was. It was these 59 men plus that came, and suddenly on March 2nd, a blue norther blew in. They were not dressed for the day. They were crammed into this small room with very little food, nothing on the windows but really cheap curtains. There was no glass in the windows, so they were freezing. But through all of this, they came up with that Declaration of Independence and the Constitution that ensured Texas' freedom.
Well, this mural was done by a local artist. His name was Russell Cushman. His signature is right there. He did have some helpers that helped paint this also, and their signatures are on the walls throughout the museum. But it starts with the trip to Texas, the Caddo Indians at the beginning, crossing across Texas, showing the rivers and the wildlife. And most of the people during this era were farmers, and so it shows them farming, shows a traditional buffalo hunt where the Native Americans are hunting the buffalo, chasing them over a cliff where they can fall to their death. It was the easiest way for them to kill such a powerful animal. And then last, there is the town of Washington on the Brazos. Independence Hall is in the center with the flag on top. This is what the town would look like in the later 1800s, probably 1840s. They did have several brick buildings, a hotel. Even though they had a hotel in lots of these places, not all the signers had a place to stay when they came to Washington on the Brazos. Some of them even slept underneath their wagons during the convention. But the town really looks like a normal town in Texas would have been during this time period.
Gail, thank you so much for having us out at the Star of the Republic Museum today.
It was our pleasure, and we look forward to seeing everyone when we're back open again.
So please join us again on another Encore excursion at our next exciting destination.